Hey everyone, and welcome to blasterKRAFT, where I do gun and gear gadget reviews and just talk about the art of the pew. In this video, I'm going to show you the differences between a laser sight, a red dot optic, and iron sights, including night sights. If you're new to the gun thing, this might be helpful information for you. And if you're not new to the gun thing, maybe you want to see what RMR looks like looking through the optic at a target in various light conditions. Maybe you want to see what an XS big dot sight looks like. Maybe you want to see what a Crimson Trace laser looks like. So that's what this video is about. So first of all, this is a Ruger LCR. This is my sort of lightweight pocket carry gun. It happens to have a Crimson Trace laser grip on it and an XS big dot sight. So the laser is activated when I put my hand on the grip. See that? Boom, look at that. So I won't sit and stare at you with a laser. But so a lot of people may get confused with the terminology between a laser and a red dot like what you have here. So let me just clarify that. A laser is legitimate laser, like you could put it on a shark.
I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
But it's going to project the laser onto the surface that you're aiming at, and basically you're looking at the dot whatever distance it is away, and that's how a laser works. The red dot optic, however, has an LED in most cases. There are other fiber optic type lighting systems, but most of them have an LED of some sort. The LED is literally just projected onto this glass on the display. So right now I'm looking at you with a red dot right on you, but I'm not projecting it in the same way I did with this. I can see it. It's there, but it's just there for me. So that means it doesn't matter what type of surface or the distance of the thing I'm pointing my pistol at, the red dot looks the same to me, barring lighting adjustments, which this RMR07 does have adjustments up and down for lighting. I can increase or decrease the strength or the brightness of the dot. Or it can work in automatic mode, which most of the time I leave it in automatic mode. I have been known from time to time to decrease it manually, but most of the time I leave it on auto mode. So that's the difference between the two. The laser is something that's going to project onto your target, and the red dot is something that's going to be presented magically, overlaid over it, but it doesn't actually go all the way to the target like the laser does. So, and then let me talk a little bit about the iron sights I'm going to show you. These are, like I said, XS big dots. So the revolver doesn't have a rear sight. This is the LCR. It's a polymer revolver. Love it. If you want to see more info about this, let me know. I'm happy to do a review on this. This fun little gun. So on the Glock, we're going to be using the Ameriglo suppressor backup sights that I have. And these have no tritium, no night sight, no color, no nothing. They're just black. And you may not notice it unless I tell you, but we're actually going to be looking at them through the RMR. So that's how I have them set up. They're a backup solution. So if the RMR, for whatever reason, fails me, I can still see those. So that's how we're going to look at them, the same way I will look at them through this pistol. And then finally, I'm going to throw on the slide with the Ameriglo Spartan operator sights. These are a nice 3-dot night sight, more of a traditional night sight. And that front sight post has a nice big orange circle on it, which helps me for visibility to be able to see it. I'm going to show you what it looks like in 3 different lighting conditions. The very first one is going to be ambient lighting. So no lights on in the room, a little bit of light coming in through the doorway behind me, a little bit light coming in through the window. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on a target. That target behind me. Basically a white paper plate. That's it. Super simple. And then we're going to look at it in that lighting condition. Then I'm going to turn on the room light. So general splash of just light in the room. Everything will be equally lit. We'll look at that. And then we will look at turning on a bright light source that's going to light up the target brightly, as bright as it is now. And then also it's going to light up the pistol and the sights, more importantly. So, and you'll see the difference in those. I'm not going to do pitch black because, in my opinion, it's not realistic to sight a pistol in pitch black. There's almost always ambient lighting, and if there's not, you need to find a way to get some light on the target, because I don't think shooting in the dark when you can't say what you're shooting at is a smart idea. I'm not an attorney, but I know one. So, yeah, I think that covers it. So you'll be able to see pros and cons there, how it handles the different transitions between the dark fabric background and the white target. As far as how the systems operate, again, I told you this one operates with a button. This one's just always on. So the downside of there's a couple downsides of this that I've uncovered over the years of using it. Number one is if you get an oddball grip, you may not actually press the button. So I've had some weird draws where I didn't get a good grip, and I've got no laser. So if you become dependent upon the laser, you've got to make sure that you get a good grip every time to activate, or whatever activation method your particular system has. So the other thing is the laser protrudes through the side here, right here. So if I'm doing good trigger finger management when I'm off target, I've been known to accidentally cover up the laser with my trigger finger. So I'm like, where's my dot? I can't see my dot. Oh, my trigger finger's in the way. So that's something I've had to work out through the years. This one, it's just always on. Look through, I'm good to go. Battery life on this has been really good. I don't know, honestly, if I've ever changed. I've had this thing for a long time. 8 years, maybe. I may have changed the batteries once in it, but it sits almost always dormant. Unless I'm manhandling it, the laser's off, so it's not consuming power. Because this one's always on, it's always consuming power. But the LED draws a lot less power. This battery is rated to last 4 years. Always on like this. So it helps that it's on automatic mode. So when it's dark out, it dims. When I have it in a safe, when I have it, on the nightstand and it's dark, all those things when I'm carrying and my shirt's covering up, it's using very little power. So my rule is going to be to change this every year, and that's seems to be a good rule of thumb a lot of people follow. And then if something happens and you miss it, you're still good. What you don't want to do is plan on changing it every 4 years, and it only lasted 3.5, and it doesn't work when you needed it, or you forget or don't have a chance to change it at 4, and it dies at 4.5. So 1 year gives me plenty of grace period there. So let's look at the demos, and yeah, I'll let you decide for yourself what you think. If you want to see more information about any of these things, hit me up in the comments. I'm happy to go into more detail, but I really wanted you to just see the differences between the different sighting options. So if you're new, again, you can, sort of see what your options are, or if you're shopping, you want to see what the RMR looks like, or the Ameriglo sights, this is a good place to do that as well. All right, so starting off with the Ruger LCR, it's got the XS Big Dot sights and the Crimson Trace laser grip on it. We're going to start with the Crimson Trace, ambient lighting. One thing to note is, look what happens when I leave the target area and go into that darker fabric. The dot completely disappears. It's absorbed by the fabric, so that's important to note. Obviously, the laser dot is nice and crisp. Now I'm going to just turn on the room lights and evenly light everything. Same thing, you lose the dot on the fabric. It shows up okay on the target, but not nearly as crisp as in, like, say, dark lighting, which is where I think the laser excels. All right, so now I'm going to turn on some strong lighting. This is sort of side lighting pointing at the side of the pistol and the target. The dot is almost completely washed out. I can't even see it in the video. I could barely see it in real life. It took me a long time to actually find the target. So that is a downside. Now we're going to go to the iron sights. These are XS Big Dot sights. This is ambient lighting. You can see how that big dot really still glows in just a little bit of light. Now it does have a night sight in the middle that really isn't engaged right now because the ambient lighting is decent enough. And now we're going to switch on the room lights. And now this is where sort of the XS Big Dot sights clearly excel. And just again, that white captures all that light in the room. Now we're going to switch to the bright room lighting. And again, it doesn't matter that the target is even brighter. The sights are still able to be clearly seen on top of that target. So for the super bright target lighting, I really like the iron sights over the Crimson Trace. Now we're going to move to the Glock. I've got Ameriglo suppressor sights and the Trijicon RMR. All right, this is ambient lighting. That dot, you can see, it doesn't matter if I'm on the fabric or on the target. It doesn't matter because the dot's actually not projecting in front of me. It's in the glass right at my pistol. So this is, again, target focused, and it just, yeah, I mean, you can see why I run this on my gun. This is general room lighting. Again, clearly able to see everything. That dot automatically adjusts to the lighting conditions as well in the setting I have it in. And it's there. It magically appears. Now I'm going to turn on that super bright light. Again, no problem at all for the red dot optic. So in my opinion, in all lighting conditions, the red dot optic is superior to the laser sight. Just my opinion, which is, again, why I have it on my gun. All right, I'm going to turn off the red dot, and we're going to look at just the iron sights. So these have no night sights in them. They're just plain black. This is ambient lighting. You can see, contrasted against the target, you can see them okay, but once you get to the black background, they completely disappear, which is what you'd expect, black on black, which is why if you're only running iron sights, I think it's better to have a night sight of some sort in there. With lighting is good. You can still see fairly well with the regular iron sights. But again, they excel when I turn on the strong lighting. You'll see this is where they operate the best in good overall lighting of both the sights and the target. All right, so still with the Glock 19, this time we're going to look at the Ameriglo Spartan operator sights that I have. Now these are a 3-dot sight, night sight. You can see with the ambient lighting, you've got the glowing Trijicon capsules inside the night sights. That orange is still picking up from a little bit of that ambient light, and you can see your target clearly, and yeah, not bad. Now again, just general room lighting. That orange glows nicely, nice sharp crisp corners of the sight. A little bit of the night sight still coming through, just a little bit. And then when you turn on the strong lighting in the room with both the sights and the target lit, again, it excels in that environment, in my opinion. Yeah, and so if I was going to run just iron sights, these are the sights I would run, which is why I have them. All right, guys, so that's it. It is what it is, and like I said, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. Happy to discuss this with you, or if you have any suggestions for me, please, let me know. Anyway, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.